Building your small business's brand online is super important. That's why Flow Business recently held a free webinar to help you do just that. They had leading industry experts run a crash course on Digital Marketing 101, and boy, did I learn a lot. I'm Kalila Reynolds, and today I'm getting a recap of the event from Kim Lee, Manager of B2B Marketing at Flow Business, and Naomi Garrick, Personal Branding Coach and Brand Strategist. Hi, Kim. Hi, Naomi. How are you ladies doing?
Hi, Kalila. I'm great. Thank you. Hi, Kim.
Hi, Naomi and Kalila. Wonderful to be here with you. We're very delighted about the subject we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. So you participated in a really awesome webinar that I had the opportunity to experience myself. So tell me, Kim, why did Flow Business host this webinar and who were your guests?
Absolutely. So this webinar is the fourth in the series. We've actually been doing it for a year. And one of the reasons we hosted this webinar was because we wanted to ensure that our small business operators had every possible benefit from the information that we're giving. I mean, our focus is really to empower our businesses so that they can grow and thrive in a very, very competitive environment. And some of the key elements that we discussed in this last webinar was about the digital space. Now, as you know, this is an area that has exploded in the past, call it year and a half. And so we wanted to ensure that while we also put together and provide products under our Flow Business brand for the SMBs, we want to give them information as well. So we had Ron Young, which is an attorney at law and managing partner of his firm. We had Rupert Martin, who is the senior manager of B2B mobile solutions for Flow Business. We had a panelist, a stellar panel group of persons that came together. We had Kemal Brown. He was the founder and chairman of Digital Global Group of Companies. We have Alex Morrissey, who was the managing director of SROM. And of course, we have Naomi Garrick, who is not just a PR consultant, but she's an international speaker, personal branding, and she's here today with us.
Yes, the PR chick, and I'm very familiar with that entire panel. So speaking of the PR chick herself, Naomi, so you're the branding expert. You're the go-to person, especially on personal branding. So tell me, what are some of the tips to build your business brand online?
Sure. So thank you, Kalila, and thank you, Kim, for that great little intro. So the thing is, before we even get into building your brand online, it's important to even understand what a personal brand is and what is your personal brand. And a personal brand is a couple of different things. It's how you see yourself. It's what others say about you when you're not in the room. It's about that unique value that you offer, the problem that you solve. But more importantly, now, especially in this time of COVID-19, we're still living in a pandemic where the world has jumped online. Your personal brand has also become what Google has to say about you. And I recently listened to a podcast where Rory Vader said that personal branding is the digitization of reputation. And what that simply means is that your reputation is already in this online space, whether you know it or not, whether you put it there or not. And so for us, we have to be very aware of how we're showing up in these different spaces online. And not just social media, but do you have a website? What comes up for you on the company that you work for on their website? What comes up in your Instagram, your different platforms, anywhere that you could show up online? And you know, the quickest way to get a quick brand audit or test to see what people are seeing about you is to do a simple Google search, right? So I always recommend that you start with an online brand audit. Start and see what's already showing up online about you. One of the things that I actually do is I have Google alerts for different things related to my brand. So I'll have a Google alert for PR Chick and a Google alert for Garrick Communications and a Google alert for my name, because I want to be very aware of what is showing up for me online, because if it's something that I'm not okay with, I may have an opportunity to fix it. And that's important because a lot of people are making decisions about working with someone based on what shows up for them in an online search. So it's very important for individuals, professionals, entrepreneurs, CEOs to be aware of what is actually showing up in that online space and that digital footprint that you have created. So once you have an idea of what's showing up, then it's important to start updating your online profiles, right? So ensure that when someone actually decides to click on a platform that you're showing up on, it has accurate and relevant information about you or your brand or your company. So you have a professional headshot or you have a logo, and your bio clearly says what it is you do and who do you do it for. A lot of times people kind of are figuring out still, what platforms should I be on? And in order to determine the platforms you should be on, you need to understand your audience. So who are you speaking to? Whose problems do you actually solve? And where do they live online? Because you could be putting all of your content on Instagram when maybe your audience actually lives on LinkedIn. So it's important to understand the different platforms, understand what you're comfortable using, but also understanding where your audience is hanging out in the online space. And then you have to start thinking about, what do you have to share? What can I actually share with my audience? And the quickest way to do that is to ask them. Simply ask them, how can I help you? What would you like to hear more about on this particular topic? And you can do a quick list of the top 10 questions that your ideal client or your potential employer or someone that needs your product or services would ask, in order to start generating just some basic content that's very relatable and also helps to promote your expertise or thought leadership in a particular area. There are so many great online tools that are free that you can use to start working on your content, whether that's using a platform like Canva to create your artwork, or using a platform like InShot where you can actually edit your own videos. There are lots of easy ways to start getting online. A lot of people are jumping on the space, and that's why it's so relevant now. And so you want to ensure that you are showing up with your brand in the right spaces at the right times.
So Kim, 57% of the people who attended this webinar indicated that they had not registered their brand for online use. So what are some of the key tips that people should consider?
Ron really was very distinctive about what he was talking about. And the first thing was create a distinctive brand. Registering your trademark, protecting your copyright, monitoring the infringement. So the same way that yourself and Naomi were talking about having these Google alerts about your personal brand, it's also important that you monitor your brand online, and your personal brand and your brand are tied together. The fact of the matter is that even while we were talking as a panel, Alex brought up the fact that, yes, he realizes that he has to do some work on his personal brand because he realizes that SRM and Alex are tied. The same thing happens here. You have to use protective contracts. I cannot stress enough how it's very important for you to leverage, the Jamaica Intellectual Properties Office. This office is there for you to register your brand. So this was some of the information that Ron had given. Furthermore, it's interesting, again, that Naomi should talk about website, because we saw from our poll surveys that 89% of the persons that responded, even in the pre-survey, did not know how to drive traffic to their website. 50% didn't have a website, and furthermore, another 50% didn't have an online store. So growing your business in this time is critical. First of all, how do they find you? For what do you have, and how do I get it? Are the things that customers want to know when they're looking for something. So it's not just about the fact that you have a great thing, it's how do they get it? How do they find you, and where is it? So this is why having our website and online store offer is also important, because we have the opportunity of creating a website for you in 5 days, creating an online store with reputable banks and companies that can take your payments. So this is not going to be something where you're trying to fumble with getting your website together and then, oh my goodness, how do I broker, or how do I sign up for a PayPal? These all come together, as well as our email service. Here's the thing. You see, when you're doing proper business, you having a Gmail or a Yahoo address, those days are over. It's time for you to align and have an email address. Up to 10 gigabytes we offer you, as well as cloud storage, a proper email address that links you back to your company. So your website, your online store, your email address, sending out emails to your customers from a database, up to 10,000 persons, all of that. Surprisingly, when you don't have it and then now you do have it, you see the difference. And we want to encourage that as part of building your brand online, all of those things.
Yeah, so you get that KalilaReynoldsMedia.com or that GarrickCommunications.com email address rather than relying on the generic Gmail and Hotmail and Yahoo. It just looks so much more professional, doesn't it?
Elevates the brand immediately.
Absolutely. And the thing is that remember, you're growing your business not just to Jamaican customers, but also to the world. So all right, you may say, how does that work for me? I sell auto parts, or I have a barber shop, or I'm a hairdresser. You see, the thing is that while you're growing here, you're also innovating yourself. And you may come up with a hair product, that helps people with their flyaways or their baby hair. Well, guess what? How will somebody in the UK get that? It's very, very important.
And just to give a quick example, yesterday I met someone at the AC Hotel. He was visiting for the first time in years, and his entire trip was based on what Google recommended when he did an online search.
Wow.
So where should he go to eat? What taxi services he should use while he was here. So I ended up giving him some real life recommendations, because some of the ones he told me, I was just like, no, sir, that's not it. But it just shows you how much people rely on what shows up first, not necessarily being the best. So imagine if you're the best and you're not even being selected for opportunities because people can't find you.
You gotta show up.
Yeah,
The other thing, Kim and Naomi, so a lot of people use social media to find businesses and to find services. I'm just going to go on Instagram and go on Facebook and look up hair care or lawn care and see.
Hashtag whatever.
Yeah, and see what pops up. So at the webinar, 77% of the attendees polled indicated that they use Facebook or Instagram to promote their business. Everybody's doing that now. So Naomi, how important is it? And you started alluding to it earlier when you spoke about LinkedIn, but how important is it to select the right medium for promoting your business?
Well, that's the thing, Kalila, because as you said, everybody's online right now, right? So you have to figure out what is your audience. Who is your audience? I know a lot of times people say my audience is everybody. Your audience cannot be everybody. So you have to really get very granular on who your ideal audience is and understand the unique problem that you offer and the problem that you solve for these clients, so that you can position yourself in the right way and on the right platforms. I had mentioned earlier that you could be putting all of your amazing content on Instagram, and your audience does not hang out in that space. They're on LinkedIn or they're on Facebook. So you have to understand how your audience actually navigates the online world as well, so that you can know where to find them. And it's not even once you find them, you have to also understand the kind of content that they like. So is it that they like pictures of you? Do they like quotes? Do they want to see the product? Do they want to know the pricing right away? Or do they have to send you a DM, which is the worst? So how are they going to engage and interact with the content that you're sharing, and what's appealing to them? So you actually have to do a bit of testing and measuring many different times to see what works best. That's the only way to really understand where your audience is and how they react to your content. And the great thing with most of these social media platforms is that they offer free insights. So you can take the time to look behind the scenes and see actually how people are responding to your content. What do they like? What are your demographics? What day of the week should you post? What time are they reading your postings? All of that information is there. Especially, and a tip I'll give is, if you have an Instagram account, change that Instagram account to a business profile. When you change from a personal profile to business profile, you get a lot more access to the behind the scenes data.
So simple. So you get all the analytics, you get so much information that can help you to build and grow your business. So Kim, how does Flow Business support small businesses in building that online space?
I'm glad that you asked me because we have an entire suite of smart solutions that are created just for the SMB market. As a matter of fact, we briefly touched on the website and online store, and we touched on email, but we also have cloud security. We have Bitdefender, which helps against malware and ransom attacks and those things. We have the full suite as far as 24/7 help desk. This is here to help you through the LinkedIns and the WhatsApp for business and all of those, because WhatsApp for Business, LinkedIn, they are all part of the portfolio of programs that we have as part of your smart solutions.
Thank you so much, ladies. This was very, very helpful. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Naomi.
Thank you, Kalila.
Well, as Kim said, these webinars are part of the way that Flow Business helps their community build better businesses. And of course, you can check out all their tools at flowbusiness.co. Also follow Flow Business on Facebook and LinkedIn to stay up to date and get a chance to register for the next free webinar. I'm Kalila Reynolds. Check out my website, KalilaReynolds.com, for a summary of the key points from this interview. The link is in the description below. Let's get this money.
Let's get this money.